Iran, a mysterious land. A secret and exotic Persian culture, rich in the ancient traditions of literature and trade. A country of magnificent monuments, modern cities, and astonishing natural beauty. Beni Rebel was born in Iran and is returning to his native country for the first time after 20 years. Now a renowned wildlife photographer, he is on a mission to raise the profile of Iran's natural world and help protect it. His journey is to explore the little-known nature reserves of a country that has been inaccessible to much of the Western world. Beni has been tracking one of Iran's rarest animals, a big cat with a world population of less than 100. The Asiatic cheetah. This male has just brought down a hare. Last night, Beni had his first magical encounter with this impressive cat, and he has returned to try and get some more photos. With a full stomach, the cheetah seems content to let Beni creep closer. He knows it's important to read the animal's body language, but the cheetah shows no aggression. Beni tries to signal to the cat that he is no threat, and the cheetah appears to acknowledge this gesture. Beni closes the distance, and so does the cheetah. This is as near as he dares to go, but it's perfect for Beni. Powerful images of cheetah and other big cats play an important role in Persian art and literature. Animals feature in the stories of old and are often used to symbolize human traits and characteristics. The Persian culture is still greatly influenced by its ancient scribes. This is the tomb of Hafiz, a revered 14th century poet and one of the masters of the Persian language. Even today, the people learn his poems by heart and use them as proverbs and sayings.
اگر از تجربیات و اندیشه‌های بزرگان بهره بگیری، زودتر به نتیجه دلخواه دست خواهی یافت.
The lyrical prose brings the generations together. Hafiz's vivid stories provide many with inspiration and answers to life itself. But there are less conventional ways to learn about life and reveal your fortune. Beni is persuaded to discover his fate. He is told that his journey will be successful. That's great news for Beni. His journey takes him southeast to Barangur, named after a 5th century ruler with a passion for hunting. Today, this area is a protected reserve with a ranger station that is home to a pair of kestrels. The birds are wary. They are still hunted in Iran, and their nests raided for eggs that are sold to Arab sheiks. Falconry is a big sport there, and the birds are worth vast sums of money. Benny has found another unusual visitor here. It's an immature Eurasian black vulture. The scruffy scavenger turns out to be a willing model, and Benny decides to try out his 3D camera on the obliging bird. The two cameras side by side will create a 3D effect when the two pictures are merged.
"3D photography is much more complicated than the normal photography, especially if you take photographs of objects moving like animals. And some of the animals are afraid of the both lenses in front because the most predators got their eyes in front. So they think it's a predator, so it's better to talk to the animals with very, very easy and relaxed voice, so they are relaxed also and you can take the photographs. So it's much more complicated than the normal photography."
Oblivious to the photo shoot below, the kestrels continue to hunt between the telegraph poles, catching small prey like lizards. Protected by the rangers, this pair has nothing to fear. Benny has arranged to meet the rangers in the center of the reserve. Persian tradition requires the visitor to bring a small gift. Benny has brought along one of his 3D books, including the special glasses. The 3D pictures have the desired effect. The rangers are impressed. Benny has taken many of his photographs in Africa, where wildlife is far more abundant than in Iran. Sadly, lions disappeared from Iran over 70 years ago. Today, more than 20% of Iran's mammals are endangered. Benny is impressed at the rangers' knowledge, and they are in awe of his dedication and photographic skills. The meeting has gone well. They are happy to support his mission and help him photograph their own natural treasures. At the height of summer, the southern and eastern parts of Iran are arid and parched. It is a harsh climate with extreme heat and no more than 300 millimeters of rain a year. The few remaining pools of water are starting to dry up. Benny and the ranger prepare for a hot, dry journey. More adapted to these extreme conditions is the desert monitor lizard. And another special and rare grassland inhabitant is just a rickety motorbike ride away. It hides deep within the vast landscape and can spot people from nearly a mile away. Thanks to the rangers, the last remaining animals of this critically endangered species have been saved from extinction in the wild. It's an onager, or Persian wild ass. The horses are highly nervous, but waiting patiently pays off in the end. The animals gradually come nearer. The onager is now only found in Iran. These horses were once a favorite quarry of kings and emperors, and their population plummeted to around 100 animals. Thankfully, their numbers are slowly recovering, and today there are an estimated 400. It's a privilege to catch a glimpse of these rare animals. The onager is the fastest horse in the world and can run at 70 kilometers per hour in short bursts. They are hardy creatures and can travel for hours without tiring. The ranger continues with his patrol of the park. Just a dozen men guard the 4,000 square kilometer reserve of Barangur. They have little equipment or resources, but are passionately committed to protecting their country's wildlife. In the heart of the desert, hidden within an oasis, is another of Iran's natural treasures. The country's oldest tree, a 4,000-year-old cypress. It's over 25 meters high, with a trunk nearly 4 meters in diameter. This tree is so important that it has its own dedicated tree warden who checks it on a daily basis for signs of damage or disease. Benny lays his hands on what may be the oldest living thing in Asia. This natural monument has witnessed thousands of years of Persian history.
خب آقا این درخت چند سالشه؟ این درخت کوهنسال‌ترین درخت جهان به نام سرو ابرکوه. لونه دارن این تو این بلبل است.
In ancient Persian culture, the cypress is a symbol of honesty and eternal youth, known as the tree of life. And still today, it has an irresistible attraction for both people and wild creatures. A planted hedge protects the roots from being damaged by footsteps. With luck, this living monument could live to provide shelter for another 1,000 years. In contrast, the deserts and arid grasslands appear less welcoming to life. But even here, small communities of people and their animals manage to survive. The Kashkan nomads travel with their herds through the vast steppes. Goats are their most precious possessions. Every evening, all the family members get together to milk the animals. Benny documents this traditional way of life. No one knows how long these ancient customs will be preserved. The Kashkai nomads now only spend the summer months roaming the grasslands. In winter, they prefer the comforts of the city. Their traditional lifestyle is changing, and modern city influences are plain to see. But many things are still done the old-fashioned way. Goat's milk is churned by hand to make yogurt and cheese. Milk is a lifeline, and these people make the most of it. The products made can be stored for months to provide the nomads with valuable food during lean times. Benny is fascinated by these ancient traditions. In Iran, the nomads are still treated as social outcasts. There is little interest in their customs. Back in the tents, the family heads test the quality of the goat's milk. This seems to be a good vintage. They are satisfied. The Kashkai have used this hostile habitat to great effect for generations. The little that grows here is just enough to sustain the livestock, and their nomadic lifestyle prevents the land from being overgrazed. Benny is moving on. He is going to visit Shir Ahmad Wildlife Refuge. Here, there is a perfect observation platform for photography, an abandoned camel caravan stop off the old Silk Route. The lodge is around 200 years old and has been renovated by the wildlife wardens. Elsewhere, many such buildings have been left to crumble, of no use to man, but a small gift to nature. The mud and stone walls offer a shady refuge for birds. For Benny and Hamid, the derelict lodge is the perfect place to pitch their tent. Iran's national parks and wildlife refuges don't yet offer any accommodation for visitors. This is basic, no-frills camping with the most simple of facilities. But the view is worth it, and a small pool right in front of the lodge is likely to attract wildlife. The scenery is spectacular, a photographer's paradise, clear sunsets, and beautiful undisturbed grassland. It might be a cool night as the temperature drops, but it will be peaceful. Early the next morning, Benny gets into position. Within the dark shadows of the building, he is invisible to the animals outside, and there is plenty of space and shade. Now all he has to do is wait.
It's really luxury to be here. I've seen other places where mosquitoes bite you and dirty, wet and hot. So this is a good place to wait for animals.
But the animals here are less numerous and timid compared to those Benny has photographed in African parks. Wildlife photography in Iran requires a lot of patience. At last, there is activity at the waterhole, and Benny is ready. They are Persian gazelles. Large herds of these elegant animals once roamed the steppes of Iran, but mass slaughter over generations means they are now rare and endangered. Today, it's unusual to come across large numbers of these gazelles. But Benny is lucky, and two young males test their strength against each other. Conservation efforts are underway to ensure the survival of these last herds. It is reassuring to see so many youngsters and a group that are confident, healthy, and obviously breeding. Gazelles play a major role in Persian art and literature. Their gracefulness and elegance is a symbol of female beauty and has inspired many a romantic poem. Benny is distracted by a splash of color on the open grassland. European rollers. In Iran, these insect eaters are still abundant. They are panting to cool down in the midday heat. They are nesting in cavities in the clay walls of the old lodge. The gazelles have come down to the waterhole. They are particularly cautious. There could be predators lurking here. A venomous viper. Although they are not after the gazelles, it pays to be careful. The snake is over 1 meter long and powerful. Beyond the pool, the dry grassland gives way to more bushy scrub. This habitat attracts smaller and more numerous grassland specialists. An army of migratory locusts are gathering force. Large swarms of these insatiable insects can form undetected in the desert and travel en masse to ravage surrounding farms. Swarms can contain millions, even billions of individuals, and they will strip a field within minutes. But in small numbers, they are no trouble. And for Benny, they are simply another delightful wildlife attraction. Locusts and grasshoppers are true survivors in the harsh desert, but they too have their predators. Bizarre but perfectly camouflaged forms have evolved to blend into the surroundings and hide in the scrub. Tehran, the capital of Iran. The name means warm place, and indeed it is. this city of 8 million inhabitants is surrounded by hot deserts and rugged mountains. The green parks provide relief from the harsh landscape. In many parks and markets, the old tradition of keeping goldfinches in cages is still alive today, and these colorful birds delight visitors with their song. Throughout Iran, these little birds bring color and song to the hectic city life. For the birds, it's a very different life, a far cry from their natural habitat. Tehran is the pulsating heart of the country. It's the cultural and business center of Iran. The city's population is growing daily. The hustle and bustle of city life leaves many with a yearning for the tranquility of nature. And some find it in their own gardens. Those who can afford to create their own little pieces of paradise. Hassan Soleimani is a businessman with a passion. He keeps bees. With over a dozen hives, the businessman spends much of his spare time looking after them. The smoke calms the bees, allowing him to open the hive without getting stung. Beekeeping has a long tradition in Iran. The Islamic Quran specifically mentions bees as assiduous and valuable creatures. It describes how they eat from every fruit, and that from their bodies comes a drink of varying colors with healing properties to man. The liquid gold produced by the bees is seen as a precious gift from God. Hassan's family used the thick honey to sweeten their tea. Also, the mosques are surrounded by green gardens and refreshing fountains. According to the Quran, all men must treat other living creatures with respect and dignity. Before Islam was introduced to Iran, religion had a more fiery relationship with nature. Gods and dragons inhabited volcanoes, like Mount Damavand. At 5,600 meters, it is the highest peak in the Middle East, marking the border between the dry southern and the wet northern regions of Iran. The Alborz Mountains in the far north of the country are covered in deciduous woodlands that resemble those in Europe. It is home to Iran's oldest national park, Golestan. Wild boar noisily root around in the undergrowth. They are the ancestors of our domestic pigs. The sows with young are nervous. Benny takes care to keep some trees between himself and the animals. A mother with young will defend her family vigorously. A large male takes stock of Benny. Will it come to a showdown? Benny tries to remain calm. Wild boar do well in Iran. Eating pigs is forbidden under Islamic law, and many Muslims will not even touch the animals. Increasingly, the fearless pigs come into human settlements, raiding the fields and orchards. It's causing a growing conflict between animals and man. With their natural predators such as wolves, leopards, and lions almost gone, wild boar populations are on the increase. But there is one predator in these forests that will still take one of the young piglets given the chance. The brown bear. The Alborz Mountains still hold up to a few dozen bears, and most other animals will give them a wide berth. The Persian brown bears are bigger and heavier than the European ones, but like their cousins, their forest habitat is rapidly disappearing, falling victim to illegal logging. The safety of the national park provides a last refuge for the bears. Iran's ancient forests remained untouched by the Ice Age. It was from here that the forests gradually spread northwards into Europe again. The green mountainsides are like gigantic sponges that gratefully soak up the water from the clouds. Here, the mountain ranges of northern Iran give rise to numerous streams and rivers. Water is a precious resource in most parts of this hot and arid country. Not surprisingly, these secluded, cool spots are a favorite retreat. The lush green vegetation and fresh air are a welcome change for many city dwellers. This is the wettest region of Iran, creating a prehistoric Garden of Eden. There are few places like this in Iran, so many travel from afar to relax in these magical surroundings and enjoy the fruits and seeds of the forest. There is plenty of space for both humans and animals here. Brown bears avoid the visitors by retreating to the less accessible parts of the forest. They are naturally solitary creatures for most of the year, and only socialize to mate. No one is quite sure how many brown bears live in Iran, but what is certain is that their survival is wholly dependent upon the preservation of this pristine habitat. The forests of Golestan National Park are a favorite attraction. No other park is as lush and rich. The green trees and clear streams inviting visitors to stop and rest in Allah's Garden of Eden. The animals here have learned to give way to human visitors. But the visitors have learned too. They leave the park and allow peace and quiet to return to the forest. Now, Benny has the chance to take some photos. He gets out his hiding place. His plan is to try and blend into the forest. Benny is looking for a particular and very shy big mammal. He needs to settle quickly and keep very quiet. It is a Caspian red deer, also known as maral, and it spotted Benny. They were once hunted for their antlers that were used to make knife handles. Today, the remaining populations of red deer are protected and only found in pristine forests in the north of Iran. Caspian red deer are larger than their European cousins. Nothing is wasted in nature. Deer droppings are quickly found by dung beetles that shape them into small balls to lay their eggs in. There seems to be a dispute as to who owns this ball. The adult deer, with their massive antlers, have no natural predators, but their fawns make easy prey for a forest hunter. The Persian leopard. Their main prey are young or weak wild boar and deer. Although leopards are normally solitary, pairs will sometimes remain together for short periods after mating. Persian leopards are the largest of the species, and they are lighter in color than their African cousins. Hunted for their beautiful spotted coats, these rare cats are now highly endangered. Iran's forests and mountains are one of their last strongholds. They contain an estimated 800 leopards. Benny has now built up an impressive library of images that prove the richness of the habitats he has visited. This is all useful material to help him present his case for protecting Iran's wildlife.
I'm a wildlife photographer, but sometimes it's better to take videos to show some problems or some issues with the movements into pictures. So it's much better to make some problems understandable for the environmental protection issues with videos than with photographs. That's why I take sometimes videos.
In Golestan, as in many national parks, human and animal living space can sometimes overlap, causing conflict. Benny notices that wild boar are coming into the tourist camp. The pigs are searching for scraps of food and losing their natural fear of humans. And their young are quickly learning to copy this new way of life. Benny knows that this could pose problems for the park and the animals in the future. Benny also notices other problems facing the national park. A new motorway is being built right through the middle of Golestan National Park, Asian Highway number 1. As a result, the river running through the valley has to be contained with high cement walls. It's hard to foresee what effect this will have on the region's wildlife. Sadly, the demands of modern civilization take priority over the needs of the natural world.
As you see, there is a wound in the national park, and it's a genetic problem for some of the animals because the animals on this side of the road can't have the contact with the animals on the other side of the road. So there is a wall between them.
Benny hopes that by documenting his findings, he can alert the government of Iran to the problems facing the park. The last leg of Benny's journey takes him from Golestan to the far north of the country, to the banks of the Caspian Sea. This is the largest body of inland water in the world, even bigger than Benny's second home, Germany. The wrecks of rusting old fishing boats are the ghosts of once thriving fisheries. Still today, fishermen's houses fringe the beach, but men like Korban Sharifi can only make a modest living from the trade. He guards the temporary village when the fishing season is over, and most of his companions have left. He tells Benny how much he likes living here, where land and water meet. The huts are built on stilts. Extreme storms with waves many meters high can rush inland, so the houses need to be elevated. The harsh climate here attracts only a few hardy people. Close to the fishing village, a scavenger is on the prowl. A jackal is searching for an easy meal washed up by the tide. The jackal is a reminder of the past, when wilder creatures inhabited this shoreline. Less than 100 years ago, Caspian tigers still roamed these shores, preying on wild pig and deer in the surrounding forest. They were hunted to extinction, but there are now plans to reintroduce tigers to these parts once more. Benny knows that this fertile delta is likely to give him a chance for a few last photos of some impressive animals. Water buffalo. Not rare, but magnificent. They are closely related to the endangered wild water buffalo from Southeast Asia. Although these are domestic animals, the sturdy beasts are allowed to roam freely through the grassland in marches. They cope better with the humid climate here than any other cattle. grassland as well benefits from the grazing and are rich in wildlife. The buffaloes are valuable livestock for the people, providing meat, milk, and leather, whilst their dung is used as fertilizer. The calm lagoons of the Caspian Sea attract migrant birds. Greater flamingos come to feed in its saline waters. They're the largest, but also the palest of the world's flamingos. They stir up the mud with their feet and use their specialized bills to filter small shrimps and algae out of the water. The flamingos come here each winter in their thousands. The shores of the Caspian Sea are an important stopover site for these birds. The water depth and the salinity are perfect for the algae and crustaceans they feed on. Pigments from these tiny creatures give the flamingo its pink color. If conditions change due to disturbance or pollution, these huge flocks could be a thing of the past. Benny is nearing the end of his 6-week expedition. He has traveled 7,000 kilometers through Iran, yet seen only a fraction of this vast and little-known land. He has seen deserts, forests, rivers, and lakes, all precious resources in an arid country. He has come face to face with the needs of both man and wildlife to share these habitats. By the shores of the Caspian Sea, Benny takes time to evaluate what he has learned on his return visit to his native country. He has captured some stunning images of wildlife and wild places, and is encouraged by the richness of his findings and the affection of the people for their country's natural world. He has also written a report, which he plans to send to the Minister for the Environment. His mission is to add his voice to those of others trying to save Iran's remaining wildernesses.
I have already some connections in Iran. They try to do some projects for saving nature, what is left in the nature. And I hope that I can keep the contact and work with these people to conserve what is left for the next generations.
Iran. Benny is hopeful for the future of his country. Iran's secret wilderness is a mosaic of beautiful and contrasting habitats. It is a country where different continents collide to create an almost impossibly rich diversity of animals existing side by side. It is like nowhere else on Earth, a little-known world in danger of disappearing, even before it is discovered.